ASL Prime League.
Corner. Playing for Neurosoft, it is NightEnD, the blue Protoss. And his trusty opponent, in the bottom right-hand corner, green Terran player from Serbia, representing Team Extreme Supremacy, it is Beastyqt. As I was mentioning before, Ruins of Saras, very good for air harassment or Liberators. Definitely Warp Prisms count as that air harassment, so the Terran player in this case, which will be Beastyqt, has to be really careful about that. Lately we've been seeing a lot of bunkers go into the main mineral lines, whether it be that or missile turrets, so you do have to worry. NightEnD will get that first scout off, or at least it looks like he'll get the first scout off. Take the long way around the SCV Beastyqt moves out in. Maybe he'll get the first scout. We'll see which direction that'll be going, and it will be to the top right-hand corner, which will be a very nice scout from him. Beastyqt from this, just looking like he's going to go into the reactor natural base. He could go 1-on-1 off the back of that, but his opponent, NightEnD, not looking any at all aggressive either. I haven't seen as many proxy Stargate plays or just proxy plays in Legacy of the Void for PvT. Generally Protoss, I feel like if they can just get up a 2-base economy, whatever, the Warp Prism harass capability is incredibly strong, so why risk the early game if you can do that? Nice SCV scout, does see everything. Mama Core coming out. SCV may be able to deny this probe's natural. Nice engineering bay goes down, and always, why would you not do that? Doesn't really cost you anything. Costs you, I think, like maybe 60-something minerals. Actually, even less than that. But not too many is the point. Thankfully enough for NightEnD, he went to Zealot first and will be able to kill that. That will delay slightly his anti-drop build, because his opponent in the bottom right we see from Beastyqt throwing down the quick starport and will be going for a Widowmine drop. Mothership core should be out, photon overcharges should be ready, but this SCV of Beastyqt has gotten so much valuable information in this situation, it's definitely paid off. Finally dies. Mothership core out. Natural base is down for NightEnD, but for his opponent, as I was mentioning, Beastyqt. Oh, actually, there's... What can I say? Wanting to see more proxy Stargate, that is what we're seeing, and it'll be good to defend, but already Beastyqt is pumping out Widowmines. He's got a Hellion on the way. This is a 1-1-1 build from that reactor, which I'm very curious to analyze afterwards from our Terran player. All sorts of really unique and just a plethora of early openers that really don't deviate too much early game from both of these players in both races and Legacy of the Void at the moment. NightEnD does only have the 1-gate production at home, so he's got to be really careful about this early drop. He did not get a Stalker out first. He's actually going Adepts, which, albeit, are very good units. We'll see how they match up going against a what I presume is a Widowmine drop. Oracle queued up for NightEnD, but it's not going to be ready for this drop moving out. 1 Widowmine, 6 Marines will be heading into NightEnd's main, and he has no detection except for the Oracle, obviously, in the bottom middle coming out. He's got a Zealot, and he's got the Mama Core there. He will have the Photon Overcharge, but oh, beautiful. NightEnD, actually, this is interesting. He scouts the Hellions, but this may look the opposite of a drop. He is pulling the 1 Adept into his natural base because he thinks it's going to be a drop there. Now he pulls back in, but the Widowmine will barely get down on the ramp, and the Marines working on the gas right here. Maybe they'll be able to pick up the Zealot. They have to be careful about fighting within the Photon Overcharges. It's only 11 seconds, so you can be safe, or at least pull back. There's not going to be quick units coming out of here. While the natural base is being harassed by even more Hellions. 1 Hellion will go down with the Adepts. Adepts, very good. Still, Hellions doing a lot of damage. 16 workers have gone so far down. You see the bottom left-hand corner, and this actually is almost devastating for NightEnD. Beastyqt may be able to get out with the Widowmine too. Doesn't worry about it, and we'll get another Adept. Finally, the Robo is out. But that's not gates, those are no units. That's an observer being started to be able to see it, and he's purely relying off the photon overcharges in his main for any defense. 4 Marines did survive that attack, only lost 2, but still has the Widowmine. Observer will be out in a couple seconds. Off the back of this Beastyqt, just adding on more bio production, getting his second CC down, but he's still going to be able to harass and deny mining at this natural base. There was never the early pylon, which is just so crucial to defend. Those minerals were put into the main base for their own pylons, or at least the main bases. Beastyqt heading out with another drop. Already has 111, or at least his 111 build done, so he's got all the tech he needs, and that's one thing that's always kind of wonky about Legacy of the Void. Yes, you have an early game surplus, or yes, you have an early game advantage economically, and it really comes down to the timing and how long it takes to build buildings. So the fact that he has 111 done, building-wise, gives him a lot of opportunities. The Observer does spot this drop, and the Mothership Core will be there to defend. Only 11 seconds on the pylons. Beastyqt can pull out at the same time, going for a drop at the natural base. Those 3 motor mines will be out, but all the Marines coming out one will be decimated by the Adepts. Even though it looks like less aggression is coming out of Beastyqt, at least at this moment, he did manage to kill 19 workers earlier on, which has severely crippled the aggression, at least out of NightEnD for now. But there's the 3 Widow Mines. They make a decent shots off. Only picking up 1 for each, not the best. Still, will deny mining and spots the War Prism of NightEnD, which, as I was mentioning, as Terran, you have to be very careful about possibly Widow Mines in his own mineral line or something else, bunker, missile turret. NightEnD trying to get up his economy, and if you notice, I mean, he literally only has 1 gate production. Yes, he's got a Stargate on the other side of the map, but he's got 600 minerals in the bank, so even if he wanted to move out with his own Warp Prism, he's just severely production kind of broken right here. Not sure what's going on with him. Having to pay attention a little maybe to this Oracle right here. Oracle will deny mining at the natural base, but only gets 3 kills. May go down. No, we'll not go down to that bunker. Warp Prism now of NightEnD is moving out. And there is no bunker in the main. There's a missile turret, though. We'll see how that all falls down, how that all happens. 21 Marines for Beastyqt. Stim Pack only about 10 seconds away, so is 1+1+ combat shield. They should be fine for this, and there's enough Marines here with SCVs being pulled tonight. Vikings takes out the Warp Prism, and these Adepts will sacrifice themselves for a few kills, but really in the end, only 1. That is all cleaned up, and I mean, again, NightEnD, he's adding on more gates, but he's got 1,000 minerals in the bank. His production, he was hit so early on, trying to force out units, trying to just keep his workers going, because as I was mentioning, he lost 19 workers earlier on, 23 in total, so this is just not going at all how NightEnD wants to, but it is going as Beastyqt wants to. Opened up with a Widow Mine drop, which did phenomenally, and now into this just very nice Marine aggression, and also just to go back to the Widow Mine drop, the Hellion push at the natural did a lot of its damage, actually the majority of the damage also, so just multi-pronged attacks. So far, NightEnD not really be able to deal with. Looks like it'll take a 3rd. I don't think it'll be scouted by Beastyqt. No. Yep, won't be scouted. Dived in there for a second, but won't actually find it. AI just barely not there. Checks the other 3rd and says, you know what, you're just on 2 base. Could snipe that 3rd if you wanted to. Maybe he'll pull back and get it. But now, the natural base, that is a lot of production, a lot of forges, and the Twilight Council right there. This is a lot of things you could kill and really cripple the Protest economy. Thankfully enough, there's enough Adepts here maybe to hold for a little while. Adepts just stack, and it's really hard to tell how much they'll kill. 8 Adepts here for now. They do start going down, though, because there's so many Marines. 25 Marines at the start of this engagement. Marauder, and they do apply +1, I believe, combat shields and stim, so they are quite adept at everything. Sadly, they do not have a mothership. Sorry, they don't have medevacs with them. But as I was mentioning, they already sniped down 1 forge. We'll get the 2nd forge. That is 1-1 upgrades delayed for NightEnD, and finally it's all cleaned up. But that army was pure minerals. NightEnD lost huge investments, which was those forges. Is not remaking them. Has 2 gates in his main unpowered. Oh, very nice revelation by NightEnD there. But his opponent, Beastyqt, he sacrificed an army, which honestly, time-wise, takes a little while to make, but really not a big overall game investment. Now, Beastyqt is starting to be able to make some Marauders, which are very good, and Ghosts. We're really starting to see Terran players kind of experimenting how they can deal with Adepts, what they do. We've seen early Cyclones to push back Adepts, which don't scale too well into the mid to late game, but they can kill those Cyclones. A beautiful revelation again, just trying to buy himself as much time as he can. That is NightEnD. Thankfully, shield upgrade for NightEnD does finish, and as he takes his 3rd base. An awkward composition, but just think of Adepts as they're good versus Bioman. That is what he has here. You don't need the Colossi necessarily. NightEnD mixing in some Blink, maybe for some strategical advantage, getting rid of medevacs or picking off units here and there, but we'll see. Maybe Beastyqt will go for a drop, kind of posturing in the middle. And actually a warp into the right-hand side from NightEnD will go unspotted and undeterred. It'll hit the main where there's only a missile turret. A couple of Marines and Marauders there, but nice scan. Does spot the army. Ghost Star here. Beautiful EMPs go down on the majority of the Adepts. Pulsar Beam does activate for the Oracle. I don't think it'll be good enough, though. Mothership Core is being pulled to Photon overcharge those two pylons. Right now, the Warp Prism drop has been stopped, or at least not anything from Beastyqt. Not worrying about it. It's just gonna hanging out in the middle of the map, a little bit worried right there. Yeah, right there. More Stalkers being warped in, and Beastyqt just pulls back from this position. It's just a dicey scenario any way you look at it. That many Adepts. Army supply-wise, it is 71 to 72. Not too different. I feel like, though, as long as Beastyqt has the defender's advantage with his EMPs and with the Widow Mines, he'll be able to shut down this force. It's up to NightEnD, though. He was down early game and really in a strange, awkward position. He's still floating. 600 minerals, 1,000 gas. We'll see how this all goes down. Another revelation would be fantastic at this point, but the Oracle does not quite have it, and the Adepts trying to get right on top of the force. There is that one bunker there, but they fight, and the rest of the army is now with the Adepts, though, which is key here. Marauders are with the army. A couple of Ghosts trying to come down to the low ground for some EMPs. So far, no EMPs yet, but Beastyqt's DPS of this bio army just decimates and slaughters the Adepts here. A warp in at the third base of Beastyqt is attempted. The Widow Mine went off there early, and really, I liked getting right on top of the army, but with the Marauders, then you start to have the composition that negates the Adepts here. Marauders, albeit not doing extra damage, but still, Marauders are very good with concussive shells, do slow down those Adepts a little bit. Funnily enough, the Marines do 7 damage towards the only Marauders 6, but still, they are pretty good. In any situation, you want to mix them in against Protoss. Always a nice thing to have. They do have a lot more health, though, Marauders, that is. See how this goes down. So many supply depots here will go down. It's very important for Beastyqt to be able to keep his supply up, be able to keep units coming in at the moment. Beastyqt is at 1-1 to the 0-0 of NightEnD. He has to make something happen. Remember, Forges were sniped earlier. 6 Adepts being warped in right on top of the forest. But remember, when Warp Gate units are warped in now, they do take a lot more damage. Ghosts on the right-hand side will do some snipes, maybe go for some EMPs soon, but there's so much bio here. Down to only Stalkers, only the Immortal. The Immortal will be able to survive that one snipe, but will eventually be picked off right there. Base has been defended, but this has allowed NightEnD to be able to secure his third base. More units coming out, but just remember, guys, Forge was canceled so early. The double Forge, and he tried to get 1-1, and actually, Ghosts might be caught off guard right there. 3 Ghosts will go down. That is the majority of the Ghosts with the main army of Beastyqt. Pushing back forward, though, and just again, we see a surplus of minerals. So much for NightEnD. It'd be fantastic if he had Storm, something or other. Maybe doesn't need as many gas, or just early on was deterred, or at least his production was deterred. But Beastyqt now taking a very aggressive posture and stance into the third base. He's got to be so careful how the Viking will go down. Won't be able to kill the Mothership Core very close to it, but the Adepts going for the jump straight on top of the army. There is some random SCVs with this army here. Wouldn't worry about them too much, though. How many exactly? Only 3 just to heal some SCVs. 2-1 is on the way for Beastyqt, and even though we see very late upgrades in Loyalty of the Void, this is just getting crazy for NightEnD, really relying off his shield upgrades for anything. The Adepts go forward, they're still fighting, this is going back and forth, and I do not think Beastyqt should be engaging here. It's just too risky for him. We'll see, though. DPS pretty good for Beastyqt, especially with +1-1, and he does have the medevacs. He could possibly just lift up and get out of there. Does lose 1 medevac there, lifts up. 1 snipe, but goes into the main, and there is blink, but the Adepts, they don't blink right here. Main base may be able to snipe something. I think he probably should get on out of there. The Adepts is too strong. GG, NightEnD takes game 1. Beastyqt. Welcome to Terraform, ladies and gentlemen. Up here in the top left, currently down a game, but still believing. It is Beastyqt, the Pink Terran player. And his opponent, the Blue Protoss. From Neurosoft, it is NightEnD. Although game 1, kind of wonky there, I was thinking maybe he just didn't want to deal with late game PvT, TVP. We'll see, though, how it ends up in this time. For this time, Beastyqt opening up with a quick natural CC. And I like the difference, no gas early on, which one thing with the early gas is I do like you can get out Cyclones. Very good for kind of batting off early Adept pressure. It's pretty much the only way since you can lock onto the Adepts and follow them and kill them, and Adepts don't do extra damage versus Cyclones. So overall, pretty good. Still, Adepts are good versus them, so I like the gas opening at Beastyqt, best of 5. Switch it up a little, CC first into double racks, which is usually what we see. Sometimes a third racks also. No refinery yet, so I think it will be a third Rex instead of a factory. Yep, there's the third Rex queued up. NightEnD scouting that for himself, or at least I believe. Yeah, he did scout that. We'll take his natural. Oh man, Beastyqt will not be able to get the engineering bay block. NightEnD sees no engineering bay block, so no zealot on the way, no nothing like that. And we'll be able to use that with either the mothership core or a stalker. Actually, Depth just as good, but lots of possibilities here in the early game. Second gas being taken for NightEnD. So many, just saying, there's so many possibilities can come out. And actually, Gateway not quite started up yet. There's the Adept. I mean, he could still potentially start up Gateway. Not sure what's going on with NightEnD at the moment. Has all the gas for it, has everything. Saving up for Stargate, possibly in the bottom left, because we do see that proxy pylon. As I was saying, I guess, in Game 1, wanted to see more proxy Stargate. Hadn't seen as many as we've seen Legacy of the Void. At least there's going to be a lot of Marines here, but sometimes Oracle's just kind of, we don't care about Marines. Double gas being taken in the main, while the bunker and the natural, you always need that to stay alive as Terran. SCV just making sure he scouts everything, and he scouts again a very strange Protoss base. And the second gas going down, he's got to think there is something, a Stargate or some proxy base. It is early in Legacy of the Void, though. Not early, but kind of relatively early compared to the rest of StarCraft 2 and Heart of the Swarm, so you may not be 100% sure, but no, his Marines and SCVs are scouting everywhere, looking for a weird base. Something strange from NightEnD. Oracle started up, and NightEnD now just working on the rocks. As always, and there's the Marines for Beastyqt. Tech Lab's being started, actually double Tech Lab, 1 reactor. We'll be able to get a quick combat shield stim pack. On the other hand, he could also go a little bit of a different direction. Maybe he's going to put a factory on that or a starport a little later on. Could go into Banshee. Lots of options from here. If you look at Beastyqt's wall and his natural, I really like the engineering bay, which we've been seeing more and more. And this Oracle may spot that or not. Actually, the Oracle, the Adepts right there hanging out. Maybe a double prime attack to the natural wall could do something. But as I was saying, the engineering bay is just so good versus the mass Adept pushes. It does have 850 health versus the only 400 supply deal. But here's the Oracle. Beautiful. Beastyqt did know that was coming, or at least had the thought about it, and will be able to rebuke it and not allow it into the main. Adepts will start working on those supply depots. I was saying I love the engineering bay. Why not get a quick upgrade too? Natural base does have an awkwardly placed missile turret, which may actually kill that Oracle. It's got to be really careful here. Marines being pulled down. Stim combat shields on the way. Beastyqt adding more missile turrets and going into ghosts after this. It's a little bit of a wonky thing to do, just in general thinking about it. I do think it works well versus Adepts, and now SCVs are being pulled, but the Adepts may just focus on SCVs. That will not be the case. Missile turret will be delayed. And all this pretty well going for NightEnD. Even though he didn't get workers killed, he's delayed some stuff. He's just being annoying and really keeping a nice eye on his opponent, Beastyqt, which is something you don't always think about. Him being aggressive in the early game really does allow him to know what his opponent is doing. On Beastyqt, there could be a massive Adept push off the back of this. We see Adept upgrades, or at least shield upgrade and +1, which is normally indicative of Adepts. But actually, our SCV's being pulled? No, not quite, just to heal that. Ghost for Beastyqt, only wanting to play 2 base versus Protoss. Oracle will be going home, or at least taking a middle map control. And if we look at NightEnd's base, as I was mentioning, he may be able to catch this Marine right there. That was the scouting Marine for the Stargate, but wouldn't quite be able to see it. Look at Beastyqt's base. He's got 6 gates on the way, yep. Robotics bay and facilities, so maybe going to disruptors. Previous game, disruptors Adepts worked really well, but he did not scout the Ghost Academy of his opponent. Maybe he just assumes it. We'll be going disruptors because of that. But though EMP is fantastic against disruptors too, so just varying it up a little bit. He was able to secure his natural base economy much better than in game 1. And the Oracle, you gotta be careful, bro. 1d6 health left on that Oracle. We'll pull out. Does cancel that third CC, though, or not actually cancel it to kill the SCV. Everything from NightEnD just looks like 3 base, nice Disruptor Adept play, or at least Disruptor Gateway play, which works. But now, There's the revelation. Oh, man, it scouts. I assume he saw it, but they're the ghosts with the main army. All these ghosts do have EMP. 4 ghosts currently out on the map. 2 marauders, more stuff on the way. This time, though, +1 attack will be done when... will be done kind of when the attack hits, but the rock's already down, as you guys can see, and this will delay the attack, so it may be done. We'll see how that times out. Currently, that'll be the only upgrade, which, in the previous game, we did see Beastyqt with 1-1 for the majority of that. Scans, sees. Actually, he does see the Robo Bay, so should know Disruptor or Colossi. Will be a Colossus because Beastyqt is going into Ghosts. That does mean he's a little bit... Oh, also just to point out, no Medivacs, because as I was saying that does mean no Starport, which, Ghosts, from this point into Starport, you have no Viking to deny Colossi, no nothing like that, and NightEnD might be able to get straight on top of the army. EMPs are so important here. Beautiful EMPs go down, but I don't know if there's quite enough army here. At least Violet may go 1 for 1, both poking each other's eyes out. We'll see, though. NightEnD will clean up the majority of the army, but the EMPs were there beautifully. A nice snipe actually goes down. I'd laugh if we saw nukes or something, but Revelation. 3rd base, though, for NightEnD is secured. Both armies trade 1 for 1-ish. Colossi coming out, and Beastyqt now takes his own 3rd, but has to fly his 3rd base there, so it's still a little while until he's actually able to utilize that. Only a 7-worker difference between the two, and Mules for Beastyqt, who's down a couple, should compensate for that. FYI, that Oracle is still alive, only ever got 3 kills, but will be moving into the 3rd base, and may be able to cancel something, we'll see. Just annoy it. By the way, the 3rd base of NightEnD did have a bunker added earlier, but it was cleaned up quite quickly. Beastyqt, just making sure he's got map control, trying to look all around the map, and Adepts are going to go into the 3rd base at the same time Adepts go between the natural and the 3rd. This is important because it's all about EMPs or kind of storms for Protoss, whatever you want to call it or whatever you want to bring an analogy to. It's all about the skill shots, and if it's coming in from multiple directions, that may not be possible. Natural base, nothing in the bunker quite yet. Stims into the bunker, running as quickly as they can, but there's so many mules here. Won't be bad for them. At least does cancel the missile turret, which does mean Warp Prism and possible harasses in the future. That will be cleaned up, while Adepts kind of still looking to move into the natural base. They stuttered for a second, and that will not allow them to be able to get there. Beastyqt defending quite well, or at least withstanding little damage. Currently at +1, while his opponent is at +2 attacking Adepts, and man... This is the type of thing where he just keeps harassing, and back at home he's already got Colossi, so he's going to harass, and then move in with a large army, just culminating out of all the smaller armies. He's Colossi behind him. Beastyqt does know this, or at least knows there's disruptors. Didn't actually scout the Colossi, but does know about Robo Facility and Robo Bay. Here's he's moving out again. Adepts do have the possibility to move into 3rd. For now, though, Beastyqt trying to end the game. He just does not want to bring it to late game, whereas NightEnD does. 4th base is up, and Adepts moving into the 3rd base. We'll see. Not quite yet. No, the Colossi. There's the nice scout. EMPs actually didn't get off right there. 1 EMP does go off, but really awkwardly. Colossi still on full health, and these Adepts going straight for the kill. You're going to get something. There's some Marines on the right-hand side of your screen in the top right, but they're not going to be quite quick enough. We'll cancel that 4th CC, or at least actually kill the worker on it. Only 6 workers at this 3rd base. 10 workers killed. So far, both players have gone back and forth. So far, NightEnD has killed 24 workers, but there's a massive drop coming into the main. NightEnD is already prepared for this. He does have Blink and will be able to pick off one. Combined with the Photon Overcharge, will be completely fine. Leap Beacon coming out for NightEnD. Always Sky Toss is fantastic. Just denying some proxy pylons or map vision. I like that right there. Always just sending 1 or 2 Marines out. Very expendable. It's probably why Marines hate being a part of the Dominion. I don't know. They're convicts, but they are expendable. So being able to scout whatever they need. We'll spot the 4th base, which is nice because Beastyqt also was doing his own. Liberator's starting to come out for Beastyqt off the back of this, with the drop barely not scattered by that Oracle. Right now, it's been back and forth, and I know Beastyqt, he has never been able to truly get the damage or actually push off. Lost 25 workers overall, but he's really trying hard and keeping nice tabs on his opponent. Oh, at the top, we just saw a couple of Adepts get cleaned up by Beastyqt, and now NightEnd's moving to defend it. He can simply sidestep to the right into his 4th base if he wants to. Nice scan, will cave out his Adepts, and NightEnd is going for a surround, but nope, the Medivacs will deny it. Yeah, Blink was not quite good enough right there to do it, or at least to get that butt wall that was going on, and drop in the main, and guys, how many gates? Dang, there's a lot of gates in the main right now. At least 6, maybe 7, 8, 9 here, and maybe Beastyqt will get that. He will cancel +2 upgrades, though, which is incredibly nice. Sorry, +3 upgrades, actually. +3 attack, but that's all. There's no mixing in some Vikings or more Marauders could potentially be devastating versus NightEnD here because of his lack of armor upgrades. But oh, Beastyqt's got to be careful about that. Does lose one. Medevac pulls out, and I like what he's doing. It's just NightEnD is a very dominating lead. Not only that, but getting carriers, and he still has the Mothership core. Potentially, he could go Mothership. Obviously, Terrans do have scans, but always just kind of why not. Actually, Adepts do get into the third base of Beastyqt, which kind of harass it. I don't know if they got any kills right there. Doesn't look like they did. Cleaned up pretty quickly because Beastyqt has the sensor tower. Beastyqt only at 1-1-2-2 is roughly 40-50 seconds away, but he is starting to mix some Liberators with this composition. Takes the gold base. He knows he needs to compensate, but NightEnD doesn't care if that gold base actually will be moving in some Adepts, and NightEnD is moving out at the same time, maybe able to pull the army out of position to defend the gold base. We'll see. Adepts pull back from there. Planetary's at the gold base. SCVs should be able to re-mine that base, and now Beastyqt's got an army, but it's terribly out of position and spread out. 134 army supply for a Protoss. NightEnD to the 100 of Beastyqt. That does have Liberators, though. Still not in Liberation mode anywhere, so we don't know where he will kind of shore up his defenses yet. Definitely could be somewhere important, maybe at his natural base into his main, I think is the most important. But all the Adepts, again, is just preparing a retreat right off the bat. They can't cancel that. Always the scary thing about Adepts is it's their decision to do what they want to do, not yours. They don't have to commit to anything. Stargate was killed in the bottom left-hand corner, allowing possibly a 5th base for Beastyqt. At the moment, NightEnD is actually up by literally almost double the economy, at least mineral-wise, than his opponent. Only about 15-20 more workers, or only about 15 more workers combined with mules. We'll see how that goes down. Liberation zones do go down, actually, between the natural and the third base right there. A ton of liberation zones, but carriers are there. Note, in the main base, there are a lot of missile turrets, so the carriers cannot start harassing that main base without taking substantial amounts of damage. The Liberators start to work away here. Carriers are going all hand trying to kill Liberators, but there's a nice sim forward with the ground army. In any situation, Bio, just when they cannot straight up fight an army, they need that little bit of whether it's Besiege Tank, Widowmine, or Liberator to fall back onto, which is exactly what Beastyqt has given himself. How many Colossi are there? There is 4 Colossi plus 1 in a War Prism, and all the Liberators liberate up! They may be able to free this entire Protoss army of their bondage. Maybe, maybe not right here. So much bio for Beastyqt, but there's just so much for NightEnD, including the carries. If they pull back and maybe release some interceptors, they may be able to do more damage or at least kill the Liberators. All the Liberators are liberated up, I think. Yeah, they are all liberated up, so potentially carriers or air attack could kill it. Dang, one of the carriers only at 1 HP. That's where you hope you had something to heal it. That's where you hope you have medevacs for carriers. Kind of wonky, crazy. But by the way, there's a sensor tower in the main if you see in the bottom left. Beastyqt knows about all the army movements, but I wonder if he sees the Adepts also on sensor towers, at least the Adept shades. But big shade in the middle completely bypasses those Liberators, but the Adepts cannot shoot the Liberators. They do some damage towards NightEnD, but the Stalkers do blink forward to completely kill it. NightEnD goes 2-0 so far versus Beastyqt. GG.
All right, we are here. We are on Bridgehead, and up here on the top left-hand corner of the map, it is NightEnD, Romania.
And his opponent on the right-hand side, the yellow Terran player from Team Extreme Supremacy. It is Beastyqt. Sadly, not quite showing his wow. I was going to say supremacy, but supremacy in this matchup. All the vowels and nouns just got randomly mixed up together.
It happens.
It's like 9/11, you know? SpongeBob, no, I keep making
I don't know if it's like 9/11, but okay.
No, that was a terrible thing to say. We'll see, though.
It might be.
Oh, the SCV and the probe, I love that. For half a second, I thought the game froze because the SCV and the probe met and stopped moving. But where they were going was perfectly kind of screwed up, so they didn't. Their paths weren't right.
Sometimes when we touch, the graphics are screwed up.
Oh man, Beastyqt going for a 1-1-1 build.
Yeah.
He has shown that he likes the medevac push into Hellions, which. The medevac push, what am I talking about? The Widowmine push, which is good. Generally on this map, I probably wouldn't say Hellions, because there should be a wall, something to deny them. But on this map, with the refinery block,
Yeah.
It's just so easy to go from the cliffs into the Protoss base without them being able to deny it. And as you've mentioned, not only Engineering Bay, but Refinery Engineering Bay Assimilator, man, whatever you want to do, you can just screw up your opponent's economy super easily.
Yeah, it's so much, like, it's not literally cheaper, but it's almost like because of inflation, it's cheaper to do, like, because you have more resources available. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
No one knows Endersword is a phenomenal banker here, so he's able to give us all the economic analogies.
I tried.
Gateway's still not even being started for NightEnD, which I understand him going for the quick. I understand him going for the quick Mothership Core, but each game he's gone Mothership Core Adept Gate. It's kind of awkward because normally you prioritize it, but it may just be.
Yeah, again, obviously, it's because the gas was stolen, right? So he wanted to sneak the Robo in before he got the 50 started there, I imagine. Although, yeah, I hope he doesn't now forget about it.
Oh, there it is, starting up.
Okay, good. Yeah,
I remember casting a game. I don't remember what it was, if it was ASL, but just it was really high level players like GM. Like the 7 or 8 minute mark, a guy was like, "Oh crap, I forgot Gateway." GG.
It happens. That does happen. Yeah, I've seen that happen to somebody at like 13 minutes into a game. They did like a warp prism.
It was like GM builds too.
Yeah,
like no, GG.
Just done. Yeah. Sometimes it happens.
Beastyqt going for that Widowmine Marine drop. Perfectly timed out to having 6 Marines, 1 Widowmine. Next attack should have 2 Widowmines in it. For now, though, I'm really curious to see if the Hellions can actually get into the main of NightEnD, which it looks like they may be able to. No wall, no sentries, no nothing like that to block it. So they very well may be able to kind of pull NightEnD apart, which is what we saw in Game 1. But even in that, after killing 20 workers, he still just kind of crumbled to Adepts, which is what happened.
The Adept does come out, gets this drop in the middle. A few Adepts will come to support that. The Observer is right there as well. So he was very well prepared to fend that off. It's almost like everyone tries to do that. And then here comes the Hellions, and they're going to get trapped with the Photon Overcharge. So excellent defense here so far by NightEnD.
Game 1 losing 20 workers. Game 2 simply losing 1, which may have even been the probe. So yeah, defending perfectly. Now there is, instead of going for a rebuttal or kind of a repost attack with more Widowmines, we actually see a siege tank out of Beastyqt for defense. But still, it's funny in PvT because now not only does the Protoss have to worry about the imminent drops, but the Terran does too.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, there is the Warp Prism over on the other side of the map for Adepts being loaded in and brought over to the natural base of Beastyqt. Waiting for just a moment. Probably for...
He's got a micro at home, man. He's got to be able to Photon Overcharge. Too much APM to Photon Overcharge.
Yeah, and he'll want these gameplays done as well. Yeah, obviously. And there comes it now. Tons of Adepts warping in. And
GG! NightEnD goes 3-0.
Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe to support the ASL by hitting the button now.